The most popular refrain goes something like this. The system is broken, it cannot be fixed, and there is no solution. My position is that there was always a solution, and this is the parish system. It's a system England implemented but did not perfect. It was unfortunately implemented by the state, and in the end, the state corrupted, debased, and made it of little effect. The parish system on the face of it is a simple system in which the nation is divided into parishes, and each parish has its church. This system, the parish system, was a cornerstone of local governance, social organization, and religious life in England, during the empire-forming days, roughly the 16th to 19th centuries. It was a highly localized administrative and ecclesiastical structure that shaped community life and supported the broader framework of the English state as it expanded its global influence. The parish system had medieval origins, evolving from the early Christian church's organization of England into territorial units centered around a church. By the early modern period, 16th century, England was divided into approximately 9,000 parishes, each with a church and a resident priest or rector. Geographical scope: parishes varied in size and population, ranging from small rural hamlets to densely populated urban areas. Each parish was a self-contained unit with defined boundaries, often aligned with manorial or village territories. Ecclesiastical and secular roles: parishes served both religious and civil functions, acting as the primary interface between the state, the Church of England, and local communities. After the English Reformation, 1530s. Parishes were the local units of the established Church of England. The parish church was the center of worship, where baptisms, marriages, and burials were conducted, and Sunday services were mandatory for most residents under laws like the 1559 Act of Uniformity. Clergy leadership: each parish was led by a rector, vicar, or curate, appointed by the church or a local patron, often a landowner. The clergy were responsible for spiritual guidance, preaching, and maintaining parish registers, records of births, marriages, and deaths. Parishes were funded primarily through tithes, a 10% tax on agricultural produce or income, paid by parishioners to support the church and its clergy. This could be a source of tension, especially in poorer parishes or during economic hardship. Parishes were the smallest unit of local government, responsible for a range of secular duties that became increasingly important as England's empire expanded and centralized governance grew. Under the Elizabethan Poor Laws, 1598 and 1601, parishes were responsible for administering poor relief, collecting rates, local taxes, to support the destitute, elderly, and unemployed. Overseers of the poor, elected annually, managed this system. Churchwardens and other parish officers oversaw the maintenance of local roads and bridges, often requiring parishioners to contribute labor or funds. Parishes appointed constables to maintain order, enforce local bylaws, and assist with tax collection or militia recruitment. The parish vestry, a committee of prominent parishioners, often property-owning men, made decisions on local matters, including budgeting, poor relief, and church maintenance. Vestries could be open, all ratepayers could participate, or closed, limited to a select group, depending on local custom. The parish church was a focal point for social life, hosting festivals, charity distributions, and communal events. It reinforced social hierarchies, with wealthier families occupying prominent pews. Parish officials, particularly churchwardens, monitored moral behavior, reporting offenses like drunkenness, adultery, or failure to attend church to ecclesiastical courts. Some parishes formed charity schools or almshouses, funded by local benefactors or church funds, to educate children or house the poor. The parish system provided a stable, localized framework that supported England's imperial ambitions. It ensured tax collection, social order, and religious conformity, which were critical for mobilizing resources for colonial ventures and military campaigns. Parishes were responsible for raising local militias and, later, contributing to imperial recruitment efforts, such as during the Napoleonic Wars or colonial expansion. The parish model was exported to English colonies, particularly in North America and the Caribbean, where Anglican parishes were established to replicate the social and religious order of the mother country. However, these often adapted to local conditions, such as larger parish sizes in colonial settings. As England industrialized and urbanized in the 18th and 19th centuries, the parish system struggled to cope with growing populations in cities like London and Manchester. Many urban parishes became overcrowded, and their administrative functions were gradually transferred to larger municipal authorities. The rise of dissenting religious groups, e.g., Methodists, Quakers, challenged the Church of England's dominance, reducing the parish's religious monopoly in some areas. By the 19th century, reforms like the Poor Law Amendment Act, 1834, shifted poor relief to larger poor law unions, diminishing the parish's civil role. Ecclesiastical reforms also restructured parish boundaries and clergy funding. The parish system was never permitted to mature because state and church are always at odds, and the protection of alien religions and nonconformist elements shifted power to the state at the expense of the Anglican Church. This decay in the parish system worsened in the New World, where many other religious and political influences began to play an increasing role in public and private life. The problem was that the state does not want to relinquish power. The parish system never got beyond the level of local power. Even though it was a national and even an international system, the parish never operated much beyond the local parish dealing with local issues. If larger issues were responded to, it was in the form of an ad hoc response. The primary method by which control was maintained by the state was through its control of the currency. It was in fact less important for the state to directly control the market, as communists do, as to ensure the church did not. The state initially issued the coin of the realm, but this job was more and more subcontracted out to private interests, namely banks. Banks would lend to anyone who met certain criteria. The bank's priorities were not the priorities of the church, let alone God. Now this might concern some, for the wrong reasons. This is not about giving power to an ecclesiastical body. The church is the citizen under the authority of God, rather than the state. The church is the citizenry, not the ecclesiastical authorities. Who has the authority to issue money? Not the state and not the ecclesiastical authorities, but not private lenders either. The only authority that contains in itself the right to issue money is the church, or parish. The confusion about who issues money is due to the confusion as to what money is. We have been lied to because we live in a system created by the father of lies. Perhaps the biggest lie we were told is that money is a digitized asset. All assets belong to God. We cannot use an asset, the property of God, as money. We cannot own assets nor monetize them. It's blasphemy. Money is equity, it is the value we create by work, it is value added to assets by labor. Money is simply the measure of the value of the labor added. This value is the fruits of faith. A good work adds value to assets. This value is equity, and it can be quantified very easily. Equity-based money produces no inflation, cannot be taxed or stolen. The worker cannot be defrauded out of his wages, as per Scripture. However, the only feasible system that can utilize an equity-based monetary system is the parish system.